US President Donald Trump has warned that the United States will take control of Greenland one way or the other, citing national security concerns linked to Russia and China. Trump said Greenland's strategic location and mineral wealth make it vital for US security, dismissing objections from Denmark and Greenland's leadership, who insist the island's future must be decided by its people. Listening to the US President.
Talking about acquiring, not leasing, not having it short term. We're talking about acquiring. And if we don't do it, Russia or China will, and that's not going to happen when I'm president.
Are you going to increase the amount of military bases on Greenland in the meantime?
Well, we have bases on Greenland. Yeah.
Are you going to make more?
I could put a lot of soldiers there right now if I want, but you need more than that. You need ownership. You really need title, as they say in the real estate business.
Well, a growing number of Republican lawmakers are voicing concern over the Trump administration's threat to indict U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. Now, two senators warned they could block Trump's future central bank nominees, while another urged federal investigators to quickly end the probe, citing risks to the Fed's independence. Take a look.
A growing number of Republicans in Congress voiced concern on Monday over the Trump administration's threat to indict Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. Senator Thom Tillis was the first to announce plans to resist the Justice Department's criminal investigation into Powell. Columbia Law School professor Catherine Judge explains.
Senator Thom Tillis, a Republican who is on the banking committee, has expressed significant concerns about this development and has vowed not to move forward with the nomination hearings for Powell's successor as chair until this matter is resolved. So part of what we're seeing here is this might actually trigger backlash that really undermines President Trump's ability to pursue his agenda as he had hoped.
The DOJ's investigation concerns allegations that Powell misled Congress in testimony related to a renovation of the Fed's headquarters complex in Washington.
Do you expect any more additional cost overruns?
Republican Senator Kevin Cramer criticized cost overruns on that project, but said, quote, "I do not believe, however, he is a criminal." He also said he hoped the investigation would end quickly, adding, quote, "We need to restore confidence in the Fed."
Nobody thinks that Chair Powell willfully misled Congress, as would be required for the criminal indictment to really come through and come to fruition. The real concern here is that you're using levers that are meant to be used solely for purposes of true criminal activity and instead being used for political ends.
This new threat is not about my testimony last June.
Powell called the administration's move a pretext to influence interest rates after a long-running pressure campaign to dramatically lower them.
The right thing is to lower interest rates.
The DOJ's move sent rates on longer-term U.S. Treasury bonds higher as investors parsed what a less independent Fed could mean for inflation and monetary policy. Former Fed chairs Janet Yellen, Ben Bernanke, and Alan Greenspan joined with former federal government economic policy leaders from both political parties in raising the alarm over a less independent Fed. But on Monday, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt denied Trump's direct involvement.
Did the president ever direct DOJ officials to open an investigation into Powell?
No. One thing for sure, the president's made it quite clear, is Jerome Powell is bad at his job. As for whether or not Jerome Powell is a criminal, that's an answer the Department of Justice is going to have to find out.
A Justice Department spokesperson declined to comment on the case, but added, the Attorney General has instructed her U.S. attorneys to prioritize investigating any abuse of taxpayer dollars.
Moving on now, U.S. financial stocks and UK-listed banks fell on Monday after President Donald Trump called for a one-year cap on credit card interest rates, threatening a key profit stream for lenders. The proposal weighed on global indices, sparking concerns across the banking sector.
U.S. financial stocks and UK-listed lenders fell on Monday and weighed on global indexes. Investors were worried by President Donald Trump's call for a one-year cap on credit card interest rates. Such a move would threaten a key revenue stream for the industry. Trump's comments raised concerns over the sector, with investors already dealing with market uncertainty. Trump on Friday called for a 10% cap on the interest rate on credit cards starting January 20th. He didn't give details on how he planned to make the companies comply. Shares of JP Morgan Chase were down 2.5% in early trade, while Bank of America fell over 1.5%. Citigroup fell just under 4%, while Wells Fargo also dipped. British bank Barclays shares touched their lowest in close to a month. One leading analyst said US card operations make up just over a tenth of Barclays' profits. Credit card lender American Express was also down over 5%, while payment processors Visa and MasterCard each slipped close to 3%. Some analysts said imposing a limit on rates would need legislation and could exceed presidential authority. Another top analyst said a 10% interest rate is well below the national average credit card rate of 21%.